Welcome to New Jersey Now. I'm Brenda Blackmon. The other big winner in Tuesday's election, Bergen County Executive-elect Kathe Donovan joins us to talk about what her Republican sweep could mean for the Garden State. When New Jersey Now continues, stay tuned. Now to the Battle of Bergen. There was a lot at stake in the Garden State's largest county. Among the biggest issues, taxes. But what has been under Democratic control for the last decade saw a surging Republican Party sweep in Tuesday's election. With me now, Bergen County Executive-elect Kathe Donovan to discuss the big win. Hello and congratulations.
Hello and thank you very much.
Well, your win was part of a big Republican sweep in Bergen County government. We're talking from the executive office, rather.
Right.
3 freeholders post, the sheriff. Do you believe this win really mirrored the big win in Republicans nationwide?
Yes, I do. It was a number of factors locally, but it clearly was part of a trend as well. And we worked very, very hard. And as I said, there were a number of local factors that we were able to deal with in the campaign.
What's going to be your top priority now taking office?
Property taxes, number one issue. We just pay too much money in property taxes, and the county portion of our tax bill is the fastest growing piece of anybody's tax bill. In some cases, it went up 60, 70% in the course of 8 years, which was my opponent's 2 terms. That's the first thing we address. I promised first year in office, hold the line on taxes and spending so there's no increase in taxes.
How are you going to cut spending?
We're going to do it a few different ways. We're certainly going to look at the amount of people who work for Bergen County government. I anticipate that we may be combining things and looking at how we deliver services so that we will have less staff. It'll be I said during the course of the campaign, it's going to be a smaller, smarter government under a Donovan administration, and that's one of the things. We're going to look at some of the contracts that were bid and not bid, where you can get a contract and then a no-bid contract is $22,500 or less, and I believe if I look clearly at what's been done over the last few years, a lot of people...
So you're going to get back into that controversy, especially with the County Improvement Authority.
Among others, that's absolutely correct, and we will be vetoing minutes, which I talked about during the campaign. I'm just going to say no. If I think spending is out of line on the independent authorities, we say no, and it doesn't happen.
Voter anger was a lot of what went on there, especially voter anger toward incumbency. So what do you think about that, and what do you think is going to be the outcome? Pro-policy for the Republican Party?
Well, I think what the voters said to us, and they certainly said to me very clearly, is the other guy had 8 years. We don't like what happened. We're going to give you a shot. And what I take from that as well is they trust me, but I better perform, or 4 years from now they're going to be looking at somebody else. And that's what it's supposed to be. This is a democracy, and I serve as a public servant at their pleasure. So it's my job to make sure that I keep my promises and make Bergen County a better place than it is 4 years from now.
Because analysts have said that what happened here now is really going to be a litmus test for what happens in the next year's statewide election. So do you think that's the case?
I do think it's the case. I think the electorate is very smart. Bergen County voters are very sophisticated. They've frequently gone back and forth in the columns as they vote. And I think they are paying an enormous amount of attention, as they should, to who's running, what they say, and at the end of the day, what they do in office. That's very important.
So how do you think your election reflects upon Governor Christie and what's going to be done statewide?
Well, it's a Bergen County election, but certainly I'm a Republican. Governor Christie is a Republican. I anticipate that he and I will work very closely and very well together. And he understands, because we've had this conversation, that I want what's best for Bergen. If it's good for Bergen, I want it. If it's not good for Bergen, I don't want it. So there will be times going forward, as there already have been times, when I say I disagree with the governor.
Do you wish he had been there more for you during the campaign?
You know, that's a fallacy that I'm going to say got started by the Democrats and just took on a life of its own. He did everything we could have asked him to do. He fundraised for us. He did a robocall at the end. He was available if we needed him. Governor Christie was terrific. I have absolutely no complaints.
But you have disagreed with some of his policies.
Oh, sure, but he understands that. And he and I have had that specific conversation that he understands that sometimes we'll agree and sometimes we will not agree on things, and he's perfectly okay with that.
Going forward, what do you think is going to be the most difficult thing, especially for voters to stomach? Job cuts, perhaps?
Well,
Or people losing their jobs?
Well, we're not going to focus on that. No, I don't think it's that. I think what would be the most difficult for people to stomach is if I don't keep my word. If the property taxes keep going up, that's going to be the worst thing of all, because people just can't afford to pay their bills anymore. And when you have property taxes going up 70% in 8 years, there's no excuse for that. spending was out of control. We're now in debt $1 billion. That's with a B, $1 billion in debt. That will stop on January 1st.
But conservatives have also taken opposition with you on views on social issues that they deem too liberal for your response. What's your reaction to that?
Well, county executive is a fiscal race, so the social issues don't particularly come into that. But I also will tell you that people are going to disagree. You know, Bergen County, if it was a city, it'd be the 12th largest city in America. It has a greater population than 6 states. So there is never a time and place when everybody's going to agree on everything. And I totally respect that some people disagree with my views and I disagree with theirs, but we've got to govern, and we believe in smaller, smarter government, and all Republicans believe in that, and that's where we come together.
Well, congratulations again, and thanks
Thank
for joining us.